All right, Coach, just last night, big win, but you got to regroup for Louisville. Just to recap last night, but then Coachman, what jumped out at you when you reviewed the film?
Yes, it's a good night. Always good to win. Always good to get a win. And every week you just see things you can improve on. That's the great thing about being a coach. And it's not everything is perfect, so you got things that you can build off on. And we went into the game wanting to be better tacklers. We thought we got better at tackling. Still have to continue to grow there. We have to eliminate the penalties. You know, just the different pass interference, different grabs, different things. We still want our guys to be aggressive, but at the same time, we want the guys to play within the rules as well. So don't want to take the aggressiveness away from them. But we have to also be able to play with technique and eyes and fundamentals as well.
How do you mention the pass interference? How do you coach that? I guess sometimes the receiver can get a little handsy and the defender wants to beat back. Like you said, stay aggressive. But how do you coach avoiding pass interference?
Yes, I think Coach Addison and Coach Gibbs they do a great job coaching those guys. And the main thing is just don't panic when the ball is in the air. A lot of times you see a lot of DBs just panic. Look, poise and confidence, and at the same time, just work your fundamentals and your technique. Don't panic with the ball in the air. Look back for the ball, different things like that. It's just the kid made a great catch in the end zone. Even though that was a great catch, if we would have just played through his hands, it would have been an incompletion. So little things like that, and every week, man, we just things that we have to grow on and continue to work and different things. So that's one of them.
Back to tackling, what improvements did you see from the first game, and what improvements do you want to see over the course of this week?
Yes, you were watching the game. You saw guys trying to run their feet on contact. Trying to wrap up. Now, there was 2 tackles that we missed where guys was trying to butt down tackle. You can't. We're not in high school anymore. You're not going to just overpower guys and butt them down. That's over with. You have to wrap them up, put your body on them, all right, and just see through your eyebrows as you hit, because you don't want to have your head down. That's going to be a penalty. And more than that, you don't want to hurt yourself. So we did think after watching it, guys were running their legs on contact, but we still had a couple butt down tackles. That's not what we're about. We want to wrap guys up.
Bryson Armstrong, obviously an experienced player, played a lot of football. I know he's playing a new position here at UCF. What's kind of the learning curve like, and what kind of improvements do you want to see out of him after going through his first 2
Yes,
games?
he's a kid that's very confident. He has poise and confidence. That's one thing I like about him. He's a football player. He's a guy that has a lot of football. And a lot of times we forget this is his second season in 3 months or 4 months, because he just went through a season. So we, little things as far as we got to watch is just his thread on his tires, just the wear and tear and different things like that. But he doesn't say a word. You wouldn't even know he's in the room. Doesn't complain. Just come to work every day. Those are the guys that you want around you. But at the same time, us as coaches, we got to watch him. But he's a football player, a dang good football player. I'm glad we got him.
We talked to Big Hat after the game last night, and he said he was angry at himself for not getting. I think he missed 2 sacks. I remember. How close are you? After you looked at the film, how close are you getting those sacks? And is it just a matter of split-second decision, or what needs to change to convert those hurries to sacks?
Yeah, just getting the guy on the ground. Like, nowadays, like when I play, you could just run through a quarterback and get him down. Nowadays, man, just get him on the ground. Because if you run through him, they're going to throw a penalty. So you might as well come to balance, just get him on the ground. A sack is a sack. The first game, we had a guy come free, missed a sack. We had 2 opportunities yesterday and missed them because we're trying to, get a kill shot. Listen, that's over with. Just get the guy on the ground. A sack is a sack. Upfield shoulder, all the different fundamental things that we teach. Don't want to we still want you aggressive, but we have to be smart. If he's right there, man, come to balance and just make the sack and we'll be good. And Big Cat, he's the type of guy that just has a lot of pride in his work. So he said he missed 2 sacks and he took it upon himself to get better. I know next week he'll be a lot better.
Back-to-back games, your team has stuffed the run. What have they done so well to limit the rushing attacks?
It starts up front. Obviously, Coach Martin and Coach Ingram does a great job with those guys. Ricky Barber 2 weeks in a row has been really good, and KD has been really good. Those guys, we work everything, but run fits, you have to stop the run, because that's just football. First thing we want to do is stop the run. And the coaches do a really good job with the technique and fundamentals. Everything is about being gap sound, everyone being in a gap, everyone doing their job. And in the first 2 games, I thought we was pretty good at that. We just got to keep it going.
Speaking of Ricky Barber, he's a guy who's from Louisville, Kentucky, where you go on Friday. Has that been brought up? Has he discussed that? Were you aware of that? Obviously, he's going home. It's always special going home.
Yeah, I actually forgot all about that. But he's a quiet guy. He's naturally motivated anyway, so I don't think he's gonna look at this any different. He just every game is a motivation to him. So I don't think there's any extra motivation for him.
When you look at Louisville, what do you see out of them?
You know what? A very talented team. You know, the offensive line is very experienced. The quarterback is experienced. The quarterback is very, very good. You know, they lost 2 NFL receivers, but they got some guys that's coming back. They have a tight end that's really good. I mean, that's a good football team. Good football team. We got to come with our A game. Their coach is doing a great job with them, and we respect their program and everything they're about.
First road game of the season. What is the challenge to coaches to have the team prepared? I know you're going at it one game at a time, but there is a difference going into a hostile environment on the road.
Yeah, it's just, you know, we have a mindset of just put the ball down, whether it's here or whether it's on the road. You know, it's going to be crowd noise, different things like that we got to be prepared for. But it goes back to just poise and confidence. Like, at the end of the day, they only can play with 11, and we only can play with 11. So the crowd, I never saw anybody in the crowd make a touchdown or a tackle. So for us, it's just keep the main thing, and just focus on the task at hand, and just making sure we're prepared for every game that we go into.
I think close to 29, 30 players, something like that, got in the game last night. How important is that just for locker room and just those guys put in a lot of work too for them to get out there and shine a little bit? How important is that?
Yes, it's always good for those guys to get reps, you know, because you see their teammates on the sideline cheering for them, and there's a lot of guys that we're counting on. So it's always good to get guys to get some time on task and get out there on the field. Practice is good, but getting up under the lights and being able to play and the parents to watch them. But for us as coaches, is getting guys reps. Game reps that can help us in the future.
On Friday, UCF accepted an invite to the Big 12. I know you're focused on last week's game and this week's coming up, but what does that mean for you as a coach and recruiting wise?
I mean, we was already recruiting already lights out going after guys. But really, I haven't had a chance to even think about it. I'm trying to get jokers lined up out there, so I haven't really had a chance to really think about it. I retweeted a couple things, but at the same time, man, I try to keep the main thing I got to think about now, and when that comes, it comes, and that's how I'm built, to be honest with you.
Back to your secondary, what growth did you see from game 1 to game 2, and what do you want to see over the course of this week?
Yes, just our main thing, we want to keep the top on the coverage. We got to keep the top on the coverage. Going into this season, we want to eliminate the explosive plays, just going back, and we had a lot of explosive plays. Now we're just trying to eliminate those this season. And I think we're doing a good job at eliminating explosive plays, because as a secondary, the last thing you want to see, and as a secondary coach, is the top blown off the coverage. Keep the top on the coverage, but it's times too we have to go ahead and cushion the coverage as far as getting closer and not giving up easy throws as well. So it's some things that we're going to do that's going to be a little different, but our main thing is keeping the top on the coverage.
Back to Big 12, I know you said you haven't given a lot of thought about it, and you haven't really been through a full recruiting cycle here either, but just having that Power 5 tag with your name, it seems like in the years past that kind of been a hindrance to UCF recruiting, but now that you'll have that going forward, that's got to be a big boost when you recruit against the schools that you have been recruiting against.
Yes, I mean, I never really looked at it that way. I just think you just put in work, and the guys that want to come going to come. You show what you have to offer here. And every place is different. I never really looked at Power 5 or not. I just go after the best guys that's gonna help us win championships. And if they choose to come here, that's great. If not, the good Lord has a plan for them as well. So I never really looked at a guy and said, well, I don't think I could get him. I go 100 miles an hour.
Devontae Brown is a guy who played a lot as a freshman, I think, corner. What have you seen from him these first 2 games, and what do you want to see him against Louisville?
Seen a lot of growth from him. I mean, he's so quiet, you just don't know he's in the room. But he's had a really good fall camp for us. He's playing well for us now during the season. So we want to continue to get him to grow, continue to get him to get better. Everyone has to get better. The coaches, the players, everyone has to get better. But he's a guy that we really count on. We trust him. He's been playing good ball for us.
In both games, the opposing team has scored on offense first. What do you want to see your team do coming out stronger off the top of the game?
Yeah, we got it. It's our job to keep them out of the end zone, and we must do that. That's just what it is. So we're gonna work on that. Just starting fast. We don't want to check anyone's temperature. It's already hot, so just go out there and play. And that's got to be our mentality. But we just have to eliminate those drives and just got to get off the field. Point blank period. We have to get off the field.
I assume it probably wasn't necessarily the plan to have Montalvo play defensive end. Obviously, Drop was out, which for him to transition and move out there and play a meaningful role in the first 2 games, you're switching around positions on the line. Just kind of talk about his contributions, what he's been able to do.
Yeah, oh, Montalvo, love him, love that kid. Very selfless. He loves his teammates. He loves the university. I'm glad we got him. He's a guy that's going to do everything right. You can set your watch by him. Just a great human being, really good player, but an even better person. I'm glad we got him.
Just one more thing, just playing a road game. I mean, how much do you think guys kind of look forward to that in a way? Just different atmosphere, people rooting against it and stuff. Some guys really thrive off that. Just how excited do you think the guys are just for a different type of atmosphere?
I don't know. I'm still learning. They learning me. I'm learning them. It's our first road game. We just try to stay focused, keep the main thing the main thing. Let's stay on task of while we're here. And at the end of the day, preparation is the key. So we just have to prepare for each opponent and kind of go from there.
Last one for me, you mentioned earlier getting off the field. 3rd down, 7 of 15 was Bethune-Cookman. What concerns you about that staff?
No, we want to be 70%, as far as that. So we have to get better. And it was times that we was there to make plays. We didn't make it. It was times the call could have been better. So from the coaches to the players, it has to be better. Get off the field on 3rd down.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck on
All
Friday.
right. Thank y'all guys.
Thanks, man.
All right.